Welcome to the Pat Sheranian Show, and thank you so much for joining us today on KHQN 1480 AM radio and on pat.utahvalleylive.com. We're glad that you've taken a few minutes out of your day to sit down and have lunch with us maybe and enjoy the show that's coming up. And I have a great and exciting person because I haven't a clue what he's doing. And so it's going to be really fun to find out. Chad George, how are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Good, and you just suddenly wondered, what am I doing here when she says that?
A lot of show prep went into this.
No, actually, I found an ad that someone else was running about his company, and I love the name. Then I thought there's got to be something here that's really fun. It's called Kangaroo Zoo, and we're going to be telling you where it is, what it is, why it is, who, how, what, and all those things. So stay with me for just a few minutes because I want to do a shout-out to Norma Jean's Diner. They're located on South University Avenue at 465. It's a Silver Bullet cafe, restaurant, dinner, and the chef there was trained in the Cordon Bleu. And I've eaten there 3 times in the last week, and now I'm trying to repent because the food was really good. But a shout out to them. They're doing a great job down there. They brought us some great food the other day on the air. And if you haven't picked up, if you're female and you're 18 and over, you go and pick up an application because every month they select a Miss January and so forth. Now, Miss January was selected in December, but in January we're going to draw the name right here on the air and then have that young lady come and be with us. And the pictures are around the cafe. They're really cute. They're sort of classic Betty Grable type. And the diner itself is like retro 1950s sort of things. Of course, I wouldn't know, but I've seen pictures. Okay.
Pete and I are going there for lunch after the show.
Oh, okay. We've got people shouting back at me that they're headed there for lunch. Look out, here they come. Okay, and this ad happens to be in Tidbits, which is a great new little newspaper. You ought to get in this.
Okay.
Because it doesn't cost much. Our friend Strong, what's his first name? Roger Strong came in the other day. You can't miss him. He's 6'6" and weighs 350 pounds. And he's just funny and fun. Started this newspaper called Tidbits and got good articles in it and a lot of fun. Now, I'm wearing a hand, and so somebody asked me what this was, so I looked it up. This is called a healing hand, the hand of Fatima. Is that interesting? The Kabbalah hand. And what it really, really means is that it wards off the evil eye. And it's a spiritual, can be spiritual in nature. And it heals and it helps me think better. And if it has dangling things on it, then I'm really healed and healthy. So there. I got it when I was in Egypt. I can't even remember how many years ago. And I found it this morning, and I thought, why not? Okay. And now I want to thank those of you that have called me about Kyani, KYANI.net. It's changed my life, as most of you know by now. I was diabetic, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, crippling arthritis until last year, 15 months ago. And I tried these products, and within 3 days, my blood sugars were normal. My blood pressure was normal within 2 weeks. The arthritis was gone by the end of the month. The cholesterol was normal. And I don't know about being normal, but the body is normal. So, plus I could think better, and I had this incredible energy. And so today I got calls from people. Suddenly the world just came alive about it. And so I'm going to be meeting with some people. In fact, we have a room here devoted to Kyani, and I can talk to you anytime right here in the studio. Call me if you want to feel better, look better, get better, and have more energy. And if you have fibromyalgia and diabetes and a half a dozen other things, I can tell you about people and get you in touch with people that have had those problems and the Kyani products who've been put together by an amazing company up in Idaho Falls and great people who did not need to do this. They were independently wealthy, but they've done this for health's sake. 801-362-9552, 801-362-9552. And one last shout out. Tim Ballard has written 2 novels on the Covenant of America, and the American Covenant, that we came here. The Constitution was here. This was by design in a big case, and he presents a great case. He's going to be on the air with me on December the 6th, and that night he's going to be speaking up in the Logan area. So pass the word around. We're trying to find a place for him, I think, in the Draper area for the 7th, the day after he's on the air with us. But everybody needs to read his books. We need to be talking about the Constitution. We need to make some changes and get on the ball. So there. Now, let's go from all of that to some really fun stuff.
To something much lighter.
Well, I love the name, and when I saw it, I thought, that's got to be something fun to do, and I'm not sure I'm going to get on a trampoline anywhere, so I'm not sure that's what... Tell me what you're doing.
Well, the Kangaroo Zoo was originally conceived of as an antidote to the current, should we say, lack of activity in many kids' lives. We are an indoor play and party facility. We have, well, it depends on we have 3 different locations, but at the Pleasant Grove location, we have 13 giant inflatable toys that the kids play on. And those toys are both the standard moonwalk bouncers that people are familiar with. They include giant 24-foot slides, obstacle courses, and again, the bouncers. What's great about the Kangaroo Zoo for adults, and especially for people who have, we have lots of grandparents who come in. That way they can spend quality time with their grandchildren at the Kangaroo Zoo while they're playing and having fun.
Inside, out of the cold.
And yet they return to their home, and their home's intact. Nothing was broken, and everyone's happy.
Oh, this is great.
We've dedicated quite a bit of space to the adults that come in that actually don't play on the inflatable toys, but want to sit and watch. Either watch or visit and catch up with your friends or children while your grandchildren play. And so we're quite popular with the grandparents.
Oh, that's great.
And we do have a number of grandparents who are extremely active and do join their grandchildren on the inflatables.
Well, now I'm trying to envision these because I've seen some of them on, there's been a birthday party. And they have these big giant blow-up type things. Is that what this is?
Yeah, they're similar to that. What's different about that is if you've gone to a birthday party at someone's home, you've probably seen a very small bouncer there, which people will rent and have for the party. And then what happens is after a few minutes, they, meaning the children, might get bored and leave the bouncer.
Well, that's true.
But we have 13 different styles.
Ones.
And the ones that we have are far bigger than anybody's going to rent for a personal party. No one brings in a 24-foot slide in their backyard.
I'm glad I didn't ask you to bring show and tell.
Yeah, no, the sign was about all I could manage. So anyway, it's a situation where, again, if they get bored with a single unit, which is what happens at these parties at people's homes, then they move on to the next one. Whether it's the gladiator arena where they can play on a pedestal and try to knock each other off the pedestal, or whether it's the 24-foot slide.
Where are they falling? What are they falling on?
It's a round circle, and then in the middle of the circle is a pedestal that they stay on top of, and they can...
This is sort of like Keek of the Mountain or something like that?
Kind of.
Yeah, okay.
A little safer version of that.
Okay, yeah.
I hope.
Yeah, I think it would be. I hope so. Well, now, let's go back to you, and then we'll come back to some of these, because you were just walking down the street one day, and you got this notion you wanted to build a kid's place.
Exactly.
No, you didn't.
You are a mind reader.
What happened?
No,
on the way to what?
What happened was I have another business, and at the time we were experiencing a lot of difficulties related to the weakness of the U.S. dollar because we were importing from Italy.
Okay.
And as the dollar value decreased, so did our profit margin. And I was looking for an opportunity that would isolate me from that particular exposure, and also something that I could really feel good about, that was making life better. And I thought that something that encouraged activity in young children who are spending far too much time connected to their computers and their television and their Game Boys.
Amen.
And not interacting with other children and also parents, and then have a place where parents could interact with one another and their family. And this was how it was originally brought about. The other idea, of course, was to create, and we do have 3 private party rooms at the Kangaroo Zoos that are beautifully decorated. We hired a set designer that works on movies there in Hollywood to come and help me create rooms that are truly unique, and that when a parent wants to have a party for their child and have the whole
neighborhood, the church group, and everybody else.
Yeah, the entire class, they can come to Kangaroo Zoo, and the parent literally has to do, all the parent has to do is bring the child and the birthday cake, and everything. We do everything else.
The kids show up and the party's there.
Exactly.
I love it.
And if a parent has a budget that doesn't afford that big of a soiree, then we encourage them to just come for our open play, which we're open every day from 10 a.m. till 8 p.m. and then until 9 on Fridays and Saturdays, and they can play as long as they like for admission fee of $8.99 on weekends and $7.99 on weekdays.
Really? Mm-hmm. All right, I need to ask a couple of things here. You're not from Provo, Utah Valley, or
I was
such a
raised
place?
in Bountiful, Utah.
Okay, but you mentioned you had friends in Hollywood. Did you go that direction at some point, or they happen to be here?
They live there.
They live there. So sometime you were there.
Yes.
I always ask because I raised my children in Westwood, Beverly Hills area and in Newport Beach. And
Okay.
They also lived in the Malibu area. So, and I was in the film business. So I'm not going to get who do we know that we know because you're too young. You don't know anybody I know. Maybe on a tombstone somewhere. But do you have locations? Did you start in California with this, or?
No, the idea was to start here in Utah
Okay.
because there is such a large population of 12 and under here that would be ideally suited for the concept.
Now, this is the age group then, 12 and under, or?
It really is. We do have teenagers that will come with their family and have a great time. There's no age limit in terms of playing on the inflatable toys.
Which is why Grandma can go too.
There you go.
Okay.
We do have size limitations, and there are 2 inflatables at each location actually that do have 4 and under restrictions. We do want to have a place where moms are able to let their toddlers
Little
play
kids,
and
yeah.
not have to worry about a larger child bumping into them and injuring them.
Oh, that's neat. All right. Well, the one we're talking about right this minute is in Pleasant Grove, and we're going to get the address in a minute and a phone number. But where are the other locations?
We have 2 other locations. The first out that we opened after Pleasant Grove was in North Salt Lake, which is on Redwood Road, and it's just 1 mile north of I-215 on Redwood Road, where the 215 crosses over Redwood Road. That is in Davis County. We do have a lot of people that see their address, 395 North Redwood Road, and they go to 395 North Redwood Road in Salt Lake, and not North Salt Lake. So
it has to be North Salt Lake.
It is in North Salt Lake. Okay. And then the other location is in Ogden, which is in downtown Ogden, 20th and Lincoln. And that just opened in July.
Fun. So you're enjoying this.
It's a great business to be in.
Is it? Really?
Yes.
I mean, really? Because you're dealing with kids and noise and all kinds of things going on.
Unfortunately, I spend the bulk of my time taking care
Concern, or you have people that are involved with you, or you just really did this by yourself? I'm going to do this.
It's pretty much me.
But, well, there are a couple of things that you kind of segued past, and one, where do you find these kind of equipment? These fun big balloon things. You see them in the Macy's parade, and that's about where you see them.
You know, there are actually production facilities all over the world that make them.
Truly.
But ironically, the ones that I've found that I like the best are produced in California.
Oh, for goodness sakes!
Yeah, not too far from the Hollywood Hills.
So you go. Okay, I'm gonna have to get all this worked out because you never know. I may open one of these tomorrow.
Okay.
No, but you bring it up by truck, or does it box up and that kind of thing, and then you blow it up
all over the world.
Not with a tire pump. So what do you use?
No, we don't use a tire pump. That would The blowers, the blowers that we use are they're continuous air blowers. Most people would be familiar with them in terms of maybe you've had a flood and you need to dry out your carpet, and they bring in those types of blowers that blow the air onto the carpet to keep them dry. And so while the inflatable is up, the blower is always turned on.
Okay, and so that's so you don't lose any air. I want to say stiffness or hardness or whatever stays the same.
You're right.
The
so
air stays the same.
So the toy is firm enough to play on safely. Yes.
I think that's just a kick in the head. So do you have many types of things? I mean, you mentioned a slide that has a slide on it.
We actually have, like I said, we have toys that are just slides. And like I said, two of them are 24 feet high, so they're quite tall, and the kids go down, and it's
so these are the older children.
You know what?
Is the 4-year-old can make their way up there?
Oh, absolutely! I watch these little 2-year-olds climb up there that can barely reach up to the next rung on the ladder, and they are unstoppable, most of them.
But there's no cement. There's no.
The floor is a rubber floor.
Okay.
So we brought in 1-inch thick rubber flooring to put all around the inflatables, so that as they jump off or tumble off, in some cases, they fall onto a 1-inch thick rubber floor, which cushions their fall. That's great.
Well, how large is this facility? I mean, I'm thinking like a warehouse.
Well, and it is. It's the shape of a warehouse. It's the size of a warehouse, but it's not a warehouse. It's much more interesting than a warehouse.
Okay, then
it's 14,000 square feet.
Oh my heavens, that is you don't mop that every night.
We do actually mop it every single night. We vacuum and mop the floor every night. One of the things that
you'd have to wipe the things down, I would think.
We do.
Yeah.
Maintaining a clean and safe environment for families to come to is our number one priority. So we spend a lot of our time cleaning some more because it is a big facility.
All right. Well, we're down here in Utah County, and it's in Pleasant Grove. So let's give a phone number, an address, and do they need a reservation? Do they need? Of course, if they're going to have a party, I would think somebody needs to call ahead of time.
Exactly.
But let's say that. Dad's home, mom's home, or let's pick up grandparents, go do something fun. They can spontaneously walk in.
Absolutely. Yeah.
How many can you accommodate in all at the same time if everybody came at once on Monday night?
And we have had those, what I call perfect storm moments, where we have filled to capacity. They're fairly rare, but what happens is we have, according to the fire marshal, our capacity is, I think, 642 people.
Shush up!
So
that's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people. We run out of seating before we get to that point, and there have been a few times that I can think of where we've had customers come and see that it's quite crowded, and they'll say, "You know what? I think we'll go get something to eat and we'll come back," because it changes pretty rapidly, from 1 hour to the next. Because if your child is really busy, getting really active, after 2 hours, they're exhausted.
Yeah, I would imagine.
And they're ready to go. And that's when the real benefit comes in for the parents, because they take them home and they take this long nap. And everybody is really happy.
I think that's a kick. So, all right, I'm going to go through the days here. So which would you say, what right now is your busiest day that you have?
Well, Saturdays are certainly the busiest day.
Okay, so Saturday opens at what time?
At 10 a.m.
10 a.m. on Saturday, they're standing at the door. And the break on the price is night to day or what?
Monday through Thursday,
okay.
The price is $7.99 for children 3 and over.
Okay.
If you have a toddler 2 and under, it's $5 if they play on the equipment.
Okay.
If they do not play on the equipment, then there's no charge.
Okay.
And then the weekend rate for the 3 and over is $8.99. That's Friday and Saturday.
Okay. Now, grandparents that want to go and join because they feel young and wonderful and crazy, are they $8.99?
They are.
Okay.
They're the same price as the general admission.
Okay, so nothing extra or nothing knocked off.
Nope. And the thing that's really great about the opportunity for adults to take your younger children, if you're going to take, for example, a few grandchildren to a movie, you have to pay to go see that movie with them. Then you have to pay for their concessions. then you pay.
It's a small fortune
It
if
is.
you take
It
5
really
children.
is. To take 5 children to the movie is,
Yeah.
you're talking at the very minimum, and this is without treats, $50 to $60.
Right.
And you're able to come to Kangaroo Zoo. If you're just watching, you're not going to pay. We do have a concession stand with
Well, I
some
was going to
snacks.
ask that. Can you get snacks?
We do, and most of our beverages are $1.
Okay.
And our snacks are $1, and it's very reasonable.
So, are you making? Do you have ice cream or just basically?
We have slush puppies. We've found
Slush
that
puppies.
slushies are
What
very
the heck
popular.
is a slush puppy? That's a combination of a drink and a hot dog. No, that doesn't work.
No, they're slush.
Okay.
And they're different flavors, and they're very popular with the kids who've just exhausted themselves.
I think that's just an absolute kick. I just can't imagine getting up and doing that fun thing every single day.
So, yeah.
Well, now, are you looking to open more places that we should know about, like in South County, down here somewhere, further down?
We are always looking to expand, and it just depends on the right set of circumstances. Location is tough. To find a building that has the roof clearance that we need, which is 24 feet, and
Oh, that's
space,
right. You got to have
yeah,
yes,
and
raised ceiling.
and we need a lot of space. So most retail environments are not a good match because of the costs associated with them and their low ceilings. So it takes us a while to find the right location.
Where is this located?
It is located just off of exit 275 in Pleasant Grove, right where the BMW car dealership is. If you exit Pleasant Grove Boulevard and go east, you'll go through. It's a very strange area because that's where the grid
Is that
for
where
Linden
everything is?
and Pleasant
Okay.
Grove meets.
Is that where all the crazy stuff has been going on with orange cones everywhere, or is that different?
Isn't that all of Utah County?
Well, that's the new flower.
Yeah,
Haven't you heard? I've
exactly.
named it the new flower
The
for
orange
Utah.
construction cone.
Yeah, orange cones. It's a new flower.
So
Okay, so it's 275 is the exit off of I-15, and that's going to put you down into Pleasant Grove. That's that new road going over.
yeah, it takes you.
Okay, it takes you right up
up
to
over the-
State Street.
Yeah, it will take you directly to State Street, and our street is 700 South, which is a few before.
But you're
State
going
Street.
east.
You're going
You're
east.
going east.
uh-huh.
700 South, and what?
700 South, 513 West.
513. Oh, I know where you are. That's a good location. You're sort of right there in the middle of it all.
Well, there was a lot of stuff scheduled to take place there. One of the reasons
Yeah.
we chose, we opened
Did it
up.
not take
It'll be
place?
5 years in February. since
You've been
we
there
opened.
5 years, and I just heard about it.
Yes, I guess I'm not doing enough marketing.
Well, I better read more newspapers or something. My goodness.
So,
I
no,
thought you were
we-
brand new. That's great.
So when we went to the area, there was, of course, the convention center that was on the docket and the hotel and all of that
Oh,
development
yeah,
off of that
yeah,
exit.
5
So-
years ago.
So that area was looking like a great location for this type of a venue. And it's turned out to be a good location, but all of that stuff obviously did not come to fruition. And so right now
So if they build eventually, they build up around you.
Exactly.
Neat.
Yeah.
I like it. So you have plenty of parking.
We do. We have plenty of parking, and we
Actually, you can feed from that. You can come up State Street from down our way,
Mm-hmm.
and you go past Walmart and all that kind of stuff.
That's right. Where McDonald's and Bank of America Fork are at, that's our intersection of 700 South. That's it right there. And you just make a left-hand turn.
And
head
you can
west.
come from American Fork down State Street if you come down that way, or just get off at, what did I say, 275 exit. And come on down at 10 o'clock, and you're open at night, weeknights till...
We're open until 8 p.m.
8 p.m.
Monday through Thursday.
Okay, and then
9
Friday
p.m. Friday and Saturday.
Okay, a little bit later. Well, I am just totally knocked out by this. I can't believe I haven't seen it or been there, and I do have grandchildren that would love to come. I think your age range is good, and you are picking up some of these kids that are glued in front of a TV all the time. You know, I grew up, as our listening audience knows by this time, I grew up in the South, and we just ran from one yard to another. We didn't have fences. Wherever we wound up, somebody fed us lunch or dinner, whatever it was. But we were outside all the time. I was talking to somebody. They said, well, what did you do as a kid? And I said, I swang from the top of my garage roof on vines that were as big as my wrist now, because that's, the Carolinas look like a jungle. There's growth everywhere. We were never inside. In fact, we were insulted if we had to come in before it was absolutely pitch dark. And now you can't get kids outside.
It's true.
And they don't want to walk more than a block,
Yeah,
if that.
there's a tremendous issue, I think, with sedentary behavior.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about obesity and call it what it is, because
Okay.
we do have a problem, and it starts when they're young. And I remember somebody saying, well, if children overeat when they're little, they're going to be fighting the battle the rest of their life. And so exercise has mostly kept children from gaining weight over the years. I don't remember but one overweight kid class all the way through school. They just weren't. We were out running and doing and playing. And my children did pretty good. They were raised in the beach area. We're down there jogging and running all the time.
Right.
I don't remember the television turning on. Maybe once in a while on the weekend somebody wanted to watch a game. It's absolutely an epidemic.
No, it is. And some of the statistics that you read about that just in the last 10 years, the numbers have increased to the point where it's really, I guess, frightening's the word that comes to mind.
It is frightening.
Yeah.
It is frightening. Okay, we're going to do a couple of things right here. If you want to get hold of me about Kyanie, I see that my name is on the screen with the phone number. That's really good. But let's give yours. For a Kangaroo Zoo, which I just love this name. I'm going to have to find out how you came up with that. So Kangaroo Zoo is located in Pleasant Grove. I am speaking with Chad George. He is the owner, proprietor, bottle washer, the whole works.
Everything.
And they dreamed this thing up to start with, which I think is really remarkable. The price is good, but particularly because they're going to be there at least 2 hours. The grandparents can eat and knit and whatever, and or get on everything and play with them, which I think is so fun. They're located at the 275 exit in Pleasant Grove. Let's give a phone number if somebody's got a birthday coming up. Now, you've got to be people having Christmas parties there. Have you gotten calls on that
We
yet?
do have Christmas parties. It's actually kind of surprising to me that we don't have more, because it is such a great place for large families to get together. Our party rooms are much larger than most. They can accommodate, not comfortably, but snugly. They
If
can
you know each
accommodate
other well.
40 people in a party room.
That's a good size.
24 is very comfortable.
Can they bring their own birthday cake or Christmas food, or how does this
We
work?
have a very flexible policy on outdoor food, or outside food, excuse me. What we allow is any homemade food. If you want commercial food, we have pizza that we provide, and
you do?
you can buy that from us for
Okay.
$11.99 for a large
All kinds of stuff.
pizza.
Okay.
And that makes it easy. You don't have to bring anything. It's all
Just
there
come.
for you.
Just be there.
But if you want to bring in your homemade food, we are more than happy to accommodate you on
Really?
that. The parties that we have for the children always have a party host who will do the orientation, welcome the children to Kangaroo Zoo, give them the safety instructions, and then for the next 90 minutes spends that time with them in the arena, taking their photographs when they're playing on the inflatables,
Really?
going around with them, playing different games with them. But really, they are there to make sure that they're always being safe and taken care of. And then when the 90 minutes is over with, the party will move on to one of the party rooms. At that point, the party host has set your party room up for you, so you walk in, your plates are down, your drinks are down,
Everything's ready to go.
is ready to go, and the kids take their seats. The party host serves them. They sing happy birthday. If they're in, two of the rooms have a bubble machine that goes off when they sing happy birthday, and then again, a parent literally can just sit and watch the
Show
whole
up.
thing unfold, or they can be as involved as they'd like to be. But the host is
love
there
it.
to do it all, and of course the cleanup at the end. So at the end of the party,
You guys clean it all up and
we
they walk
clean
out
it all
the door?
up, and they walk home. They leave, and they go home to this house that's not a mess.
Oh
and
my goodness!
it's-
Would you all call somebody up and tell them to turn? Oh, look what's on! You've got is this yours? Is
Yeah.
that it? We've
Yep,
got a
that's-
graphic. Okay, let's tell
Yeah.
it what our radio audience what we're looking at. Why don't you describe what we're looking at?
What we're looking at is one of our most popular inflatable toys. It's called the Baby Dino Lake,
Oh,
and it
that's
is
so cute.
It is for the children that are 4 and under, and it's a great inflatable because it allows these small children to, and we do put kids. In fact, I think the child that's in there looks like probably just a crawler, not
Right,
even walking
right.
yet, but they can crawl around. There's a dinosaur, there's an alligator, there's a turtle.
That
and
is
there's
so
a
darling.
crab that they can play on and walk all over.
And to our radio audience, is red and green and blue and yellow and every kind of color. These are in wonderful, wonderful colors. That is really nice. I love that. What fun. And that's just one. And you've got how
That's
many of
just
these?
one, and we have 13 at that location.
Oh, my goodness. This is in Pleasant Grove at the 275. Can they see it when they come off at 275, or do they have to go east to State Street?
You do have to go east, not all the way to State Street. If they turn right on 700 South,
Okay.
and the most distinctive landmark there is the new deluxe Utah State liquor store. But anyway,
goodness.
you turn right there and head down 6/10 of a mile, and then you'll see us right there on the right
Well,
side of the road.
that is so much fun. All right. You probably gave no, we didn't do the phone number yet. At least I didn't write
the
it
phone
down.
number is,
okay, phone number. Get pen and paper. Oh, look at that. That's the slide.
That's the 24-foot slide.
Oh,
that you're
my
looking
word.
At. And so it goes all the way to the ceiling, and then
How
they come down.
fun. Oh,
And
this
that-
is terrific.
And that's one that has the dragon on the top of the slide.
Oh, radio, you're just going to have to get in the car, y'all, and just drive down there and see this thing. Everybody should do this on Saturday.
It would be wonderful if
Grandparents
everybody
take
did
the kids, and the parents go shopping.
this. Perfect.
That is perfect, I'll
Yep.
tell you. That would be the way to do it. That is so much fun. This place is huge. Okay, phone number.
801
Okay,
785
785.
9999.
Well, that's easy enough. I can even handle that. 801 785 9999. 785-9999 for Kangaroo Zoo in Pleasant Grove. Oh, they put up the phone number on the monitor on the screen so you can see it. Pleasant Grove Kangaroo Zoo location, 801-785-9999. Gracious, this is so fun to know. All right, now let's get back to the obesity because it is a problem. And I have to think that when you started this as an idea that you had something in mind. And I can't resist. Do you have children or no?
I do. I have 2 children, and they were the exact age at the time that I started. They were my target market. They would have been 10 and 8 at the time that I started it. And
They must think you're a pretty cool dad, at least then.
most days.
Well, by the time they get to be teenagers, it's all questionable. But
Yeah.
but that's a 10 and 8. That's a great age.
Well,
Great ages.
what's interesting is that when my wife and I got married, we decided to try this experiment of not having a television. And this would have been back in 1993, and we were just going to have our first year of marriage without a TV because I had read somewhere that it makes for a better first year of marriage.
Okay.
So I thought, why not try it? And after a year, we talked to each other and we realized we really liked not having a television and have continued to not have a television ever since.
Really?
And so as a result, when our children...
Write us in the chat room, which is underneath the picture you're looking at, if you have made it through 1 year, even 1 year, or your marriage for many years without a television set. Just put your initials on it. We don't need. I'm going to challenge. Is there another family in Utah Valley, or who might be in Japan watching this, or anywhere else? Chat. Get in our chat room, and let's. I really want to know. That's really a true story.
That is a true story. And as a result, when our children arrived and we were, raising them, of course, when they're really young, they require all of your attention, not just some of it, but all of it. And so it took a lot of effort, and we were constantly taking them out to parks and doing things with them to keep them busy. And but what we noticed, and then as they became the reading age, then they learned to read well and read often. And anyway, the benefits of not having a television just
So they haven't had television.
No.
So they watch movies on a computer?
We do have a computer that we will show. We watch movies together as a family, and that's the only time we do it, is when it's all of us sitting down together as a family watching a movie.
This is a perfect thing then.
So, but what happened is I was obviously aware of everybody else and how much time their children were spending in front of either a television or the Game Boy or other, Nintendo, and I really wanted to find something that would break them away from that, and so that people would have an opportunity to, at least for a few hours, experience some of the good things that we've experienced as a family without a television.
And 5 years later, you're just loving it. And the kids are now teenagers.
They are teenagers.
Are they working down there?
No,
Okay.
They're working at their studies.
Okay, good. That's a good place for them to be. Yeah. All right, so let's talk about this obesity, because you've got some statistics and things here that I want to look at. This has to do with child obesity has gone up, 300% in the past 30 years? In 1980, 70% of children ages 6 to 11 were obese, in 7%. In 2008, 20%, 8 to 11, were obese. And then now we're 300% up over the 30 years?
Yeah, it's, I mean, the statistics are really staggering. And if anybody doubts these statistics, I encourage you to go watch children walk into a school during morning drop-off, and they will be confirmed over and over and over again, because you notice it every day. Every day that I drop my children off, I notice it.
I'm just, where does this come from? This is
there
from,
are a number of different
it's
sources.
www.edc, right?
The Center for Disease Control.
Okay.
And then there's another study that was done by the Kaiser Foundation, and that focused more on what the people are doing to try to combat the obesity epidemic.
Didn't they cut out all the, is gym required anymore at school? I mean, when you grew up, you had to take gym.
No, it is required, and what they are finding is if it's not part of their lifestyle outside of gym class, it's really hard to make it something they'll embrace for that period.
Well,
for
sure,
90
that makes
minutes,
sense.
60
They're not
minutes,
used to doing anything.
So, and if you talk to teens, and many of them are very excited to finally have their physical education requirement out of the way. So, because for example, in high school, it's only 2 years. You only have to have the first.
And you can fake right out of it into study if you work it right.
Yeah. So
a third adolescents aren't getting enough exercise, and 10% just sit around. Right?
Yeah. Well,
this
this statistic that I thought was staggering is that
we're intelligent people. Don't we know better than to let the kids sit around? I mean, grandparents aren't, unless they're living with you, we don't have much say in all this anymore.
Well, what we observed as parents when our children were really young was that it was really, really challenging to keep them occupied, entertained, keep them out of danger's way all the time, and we didn't get lucky enough to have children that napped. Our kids stopped napping early, so it was kind of an all-day experience from the earliest
Well, don't
age.
you think a lot of people use it for babysitters?
That's exactly correct.
Television for babysitters.
And I know how it feels, because at one point, my wife and I were preparing to move to Italy for 2 years, and our children were 5 and 3. And at that time, we had an entire house that we had to pack up and put into storage so that we could leave. And we did not have any family members around us that could help us out with our kids. And we found ourselves relying up for the very first time, pulling out the laptop and putting a DVD to sit them in front of that,
right underneath
so they wouldn't be underneath us as we're moving sofas. And wow, it was revolutionary. It was so easy. It was just magic. But the problem is, magic usually comes with a price. And what happened is, as we did that, we certainly for the very first time, and again, they were 3 and 5, but we discovered just how easy it is to rely on that, and how difficult it is to keep things interesting when you're not relying on that.
Oh, my goodness. Well, we're going to talk some more about this obesity, but if you just joined us on streaming video, live video, it's pat.utahvalleylive.com. We appreciate your coming and joining in. If you're on the radio, you're on 1480 AM KHQN. Our tower's down in Spanish Fork, and we're located in downtown Provo in a studio. My guest today is Chad George, and when I saw the name Kangaroo Zoo, that's what prompted me to call him, because I thought it would be really interesting and fun, and I wasn't sure but what he was going to bring animals in here. So I really like what you're doing. I really do. I think there's a huge need for it. And particularly where in California we had beaches and we had good weather, and at least we could pretend they were going to go outside, even if they planted themselves in front of the TV. But here, to have an indoor, temperature-controlled, clean environment where they can have parties and birthday parties or celebrate Christmas or just come as a family reunion, your rooms.
For an hour, and it's a 90-minute minimum. What we're doing during the holidays, if people want to have an after-hours party from 8 to 10,
okay,
we're giving it to the whole time for $299.
Okay, so $299, and what do they get with that?
They get the entire facility to
themselves.
The
whole big thing.
Yep.
Bring 100 people and come, because you just told me it holds 600 and something.
Yeah, you could bring 600 people. I hope you
Wait,
don't.
and you're not. So you're not charging by the person then.
No.
So it's $299. Come in as many as want to come.
That's exactly correct.
And reserve it from 8 to 10.
And we've even had people say, "Oh, that's really kind of late for our small children." So we've done before we open parties on Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m.
In the morning.
And then they come in their pajamas and they have
what
a
a
great
hoot.
time. Yeah. So.
Oh my goodness! You have to do more of this. You have to tell people about this. You do realize. I mean, you really do, because we're not a million miles away from you down here in Provo. No. It's not like we're not tuned into something. Hey, you folks listening, I really want you to call him. This is Chad George, and I want you to call him at 801-785-9999. There, we got it on the screen again, 785-9999. And because where could be more fun?
Nowhere.
I mean, there is nowhere that could be more fun. And the pictures of the equipment, the fun things, all these animals and different things. Can you rattle all 13 of them off?
If you gave me a minute, I might be able
to. The dinosaur was one of them that we just saw. And what's his name?
Like I said, we call that the baby dino lake.
Okay, the baby dino lake.
And then, we have the dragon slide, which is a popular one. We have a leopard slide, which is a popular one. Then we have tropical obstacle course, which has a giant frog on the top of it. And you've expressed some interest in the name, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about the name for a moment. The name, when I was
Kangaroo Zoo,
I was coming up with the concept of how I wanted to do it. And obviously, we live in the age of Disney.
Sure.
And you can buy a Disney logoed anything at this point in time, including an inflatable toy or any other branded thing.
Right.
And I really wanted to create an environment that was free of that. And I thought, what is the universal appeal for children? And it's animals. So I wanted to have all animal-themed inflatables where the kids would come in, and it's not Mickey Mouse, but it's a dinosaur. It's not Minnie Mouse, but it's Shamu, or the whale. Shamu is branded. But anyway, and so that's where the zoo theme evolved, was to create an environment because kids love animals.
Do you would have grown up in this era, Kangaroo Zoo, or the Captain Kangaroo?
Yes.
And kids love that name because they love saying it.
Kangaroo is a fun word to say.
It is a fun word to say. It's a cute little animal.
So, yeah.
And I think Kangaroo Zoo is just, I truly thought maybe you're going to bring in, hopping kangaroos around.
Well, do you want to hear our best phone call that we received?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
This was good. We've just opened, and we received a phone call from somebody not knowing anything about what we were, and they just had seen our billboard, I think, that said Kangaroo Zoo, and they wanted to know if the children were allowed to ride the kangaroos. At which point I, to their great disappointment, informed them that there were no live kangaroos, and that the kangaroos we entertain are the children. They're the ones who do all the bouncing.
I love it.
So
That's great. That is a classic for sure.
So-
Okay, let's again tell them where it is. You tell them where it is, and what does the outside look like, so they're going to see it.
It's a beige
know.
building, nice nondescript color, but we do have large signs on the front, and we are, like I said, we're just west of State Street, 700 South in Pleasant Grove. If you're coming on the freeway, the best exit is to take exit 285, and your landmark there is the BMW car dealership.
Okay.
You'll go east on Pleasant Grove Boulevard, and you'll go through the very first intersection. And this is where it gets a little confusing, because that first light that you encounter, that is 700 North Linden. So the grids
Oh,
meet.
that's right there.
So
where
we
they
have
come
lots of
together.
people that will call us and say, I turned right on 700 North. And I said, well, no, we're on 700 South. So only there can you go one street farther and go from 700 North to 700 South. But it's because
Okay.
we're a Pleasant Grove address, not a Linden
Not
address.
a Linden address.
Yes.
And the phone number again is 801-785-9999, 99.99. I'm going to run. Well, I'll let you do it. Run down the things that you offer there again by way of parties, and then we're going to give the times again. And we've got 13 wonderful animals. He can handle over 640 people, and the space, the floor space is what? Place to go. I can't wait to go. The cost to get in is $7.99 for.
The weekday open play, and then the weekend is $8.99.
And regardless of if it's a 4-year-old or 12-year-old, it's $7.99. If it's a grandma, grandpa,
That's
or
right.
anything, okay.
If it's a 2-year-old or under, then it's $5 any day of the week.
And you can get pizza out there if they want to stay and have lunch. They have a
We have pizza, we have drinks, we
a
have.
combination of a drink and a hot dog. No, it's called.
We
a
don't have
what?
hot dogs.
It's
There's
called
a slush puppy,
a slush.
and it's just a slushy,
puppy.
just
Okay.
a
Slushy.
very sweet drink with
Okay.
ice and flavoring.
Okay, and can they get sandwiches or popcorn or?
We do have some of the uncrustable sandwiches available.
Okay, okay.
So, yeah.
And but they can get pizza.
Yes.
Or if you plan a party, you can bring your own cake and your own everything, or maybe it's going to be a Christmas dinner, and use their facility, rent at least their facility. Or you can say, hey, you know what? Do this for us. We're going to show up. Same thing for birthday party, Christmas party, office party, primary party. Young women, young men, you're too old. So if you're 12 and under, this is really the preferred group. Or, well, I shouldn't say that. It's the group that mostly uses it.
It's the group that mostly uses
Yeah.
it, but we do have lots of
I think
families that will
teenagers
come
would have
in
a
with,
scream.
and they do. The one thing that tends to keep the teenagers away is that there is a waiver required, and your parent has to be with you. So we don't have
okay.
unaccompanied
No-
teenagers or
well,
parents.
and
So-
I can see where it's a safety thing too.
But if a family comes in, like I said, and it happens all the time, especially in Utah County, where they'll have a child that's 15, a child that's 12, a child that's 8. They all have a wonderful time. And so it's not exclusively.
Are these all kind of in this great big room where they can see each other, and can you
That's
hop
right.
from one to the other? You
No,
go
that
down
would
on
be
the floor and
specifically and expressly prohibited.
yeah, okay.
We do have rules.
You can't dive from one.
No,
you know, from
no
the
diving from the shamu to the octopus. No.
Okay. So they have to come off of that particular
Yes, each one of
apparatus
them
to
has
get
an
down on the
entrance and an
floor.
exit, yes,
Well, let me ask what they wear. I mean, do they have their shoes on?
That's
when
an
they're doing
excellent question
Yeah.
because socks are required at
Okay.
all times. And the reason for that is because, as any parent who's taken their child on an inflatable toy knows, they can and do get burns.
Yeah,
Like a
yeah.
carpet burn when
Right.
they're going down a slide. So if they have a long sleeve shirt, obviously that protects them from happening. And if they keep their socks on, then their feet are protected. And
That's
if
good.
they get them on their feet, they are very painful. And
Yeah,
they
so
take a long time to
do
heal.
you sell
So
socks out there?
we
or
have
rent them or
socks
do
for
something?
those who
Okay.
have left them at home for $2. So
Okay.
we are prepared.
Okay. Food to rent your space and all of that. If you want to say, okay, do the whole thing, I'm going to show up with 20 kids.
Okay, so for example, if somebody wanted to come with a 20-kid party package during the week, what that would include is we would first print a customized invitation with your child's name on it. then you would distribute that to your guests. But it has all the information about Kangaroo Zoo, how to get there, what's needed, what's the appropriate clothing. Then after the invitations are given to the host, the mother, generally the party child's mother, then when they arrive, we have a bouquet of helium balloons ready for you. So you don't have to stop at the store and pick up balloons. We take care of that for you. We have a T-shirt, and I should have brought one today, a Kangaroo Zoo T-shirt
next time.
for the kids.
Okay. Do all the kids get them?
It is just included in the package price for the party child, for the birthday child.
Just the birthday child.
We have had birthday parents who think they're great and want to have everybody get them, and they are available for $8 extra if they would like them. We do have goodie bags, which they can give for each of their children. They're not included. They're $2.50, which I cannot even tell you how many mothers have looked at the goodie bag and said, $2.50?
How could you do
I
that?
spent $5 on mine, and I had to put them together. So, we do a really good job.
So if you did the whole thing and you had 20 kids and it was all done and you just show up and kids have fun, then they go in and they have the treats and the ice cream and cake and whatever. Are we looking at $400? What are we looking at?
Well, the package starts at $239 on the weekday.
Okay, that's not bad.
That's $249 for that size. That's a 24-guest package.
Okay.
And we define a guest as anybody that plays on the inflatables. So if you have a grandparent that's coming and watching and not playing, they're not part of that account.
Okay.
But if you have an adult that does want to play with the kids and wants a wristband, then they are included in that count.
Okay.
So
we started around $250 or something.
Well, that's actually $249 for the large dragon package, and then after that, if you want to add pizza to it, that is $11.99, $12 for a pizza, and a drink is included for each of the guests.
Okay. And
all your paper goods are included, and again, the host and all the cleanup, and really,
it's all done.
The parents need to just bring a cake.
What's the most expensive one you put together out there at any of the three? Because he's located also up in Ogden and in North Salt Lake. Not Salt Lake, but North Salt Lake. And I'm assuming you have a website.
We do. It's kangaroozoo.net.
Kangaroozoo.net. Okay. Yes. And you can go find all these locations.
On the website, you will find all of the party information, the various packages that are available, because we've just been discussing our largest package. Our introductory package, the Tadpole package, starts at $139, and that's for 8 guests. So
the Tadpole.
Yes.
The Tadpole
so
package.
If you want to just have a small group
You're having
together,
so much fun with this. I love it.
So that's a very easy one. And again, if your budget doesn't allow for a large group and you just want to bring 3 kids in and have them play and then have your cake and ice cream at home, we'd love to have you. We do have a rule about the cake and the presents. They are not allowed on the arena floor. They are only allowed in the private party rooms.
No, that makes a lot of sense.
So.
And I have to think that who's aware that you're doing this? I mean, you're working with somebody in government-wise, and I mean, I can see where this would work all the way across the country.
Well, we've had a lot of interest from different pediatricians' offices, actually, that have called us, and we work with a pediatric dentist in North Salt Lake, where she gives out passes to her first-time.
Oh, that's good.
Patients. That's the word I'm looking for.
Patient. Okay.
And but again, and the one thing that you won't find at Kangaroo Zoo is you won't find any video arcade games.
Good.
At all.
Okay, we vote for that.
You won't find any TV screens.
Okay, according to Bloomberg, kids spend an average of 7 hours and 38 minutes with media a day. Some of this time is spent multitasking. Kids spend an average of 1.5 hours a day in front of TV. I know kids that spend a lot more than that, particularly during the summer. I just think you found a wonderful answer here, and I think you really ought to let everybody know about it and start raising funding and open, 150 of these things. Call me. I'll work with you.
Perfect.
Really and truly, I just think this is a great idea. We do have an obesity problem with children. And certainly by the time they're 12, if they've been eating nothing but goodies and sitting in front of TV, they've got a problem. Mm-hmm. And it affects their personality, not just their health, but their personalities too.
Well, it's interesting that you would say that, because we've had a couple of groups come in recently. One of them was sight impaired, meaning some of them were legally blind, some of them were not.
Okay.
And they came as an experiment. They weren't really sure how it would come together, and they didn't do a private party, a private after-hours party, because the timing wasn't right for them and it was outside of their budget to do that. But they brought in 20 kids from the Alpine School District who were sight impaired. And the teachers were thrilled with the experience they had, that it provided them an opportunity to, like you said, get a lot of motion that they don't normally get, physical activity.
In a safe environment. Yeah.
And it worked out really well
and
for
not only
them.
that, but a clean environment.
Yeah, so that was very recent. And we have just, daily we have lots of examples where parents will say this is, they bring them in because their doctors have said that, your child needs more exercise, and so they come in. And
it would be interesting to follow a couple of kids when they're young and see if this actually, because in some cases I'd be willing to bet this is the only exercise they're going to have all winter.
Yeah.
Other than jumping on grandparents' sofas or something.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and the one thing that's really nice too is we watch them come in, because oftentimes a mother will bring in just her own children.
Right.
Sometimes they'll come in as a group with their friends, but most of the time they come in just as a family of 3 or 4, what have you. And yet, if it's slow, for example, and there aren't very many other children there, it's not surprising that after just a short period of time, they're not as interested. But if there are other kids there that they can immediately connect with, and they do.
Oh, that's interesting.
Then they will play for 2 hours, and so not only have they gotten a great physical activity out of the experience, but they've had some really healthy social interaction as well.
And that's good. That's
so it really
good.
does promote a lot of both physical and emotional
long
well-being.
sleeves for the kids, for everybody, and socks for everybody on their feet.
Yes, correct. Yes.
And you've got so many things they can do before your show, before your place opens. They can come in and have 2 hours there for little tots or whomever, or after hours. They can reserve that.
Right.
You can do every kind of party. You know what? There are a lot of corporations that wonder how they can have a summer party. Fine. Then they want one 6 months later and they can't. This would be the answer to an outdoor picnic, but come do it with you.
That's right.
And everybody bring their kids, and they all sit and talk and watch each other's children.
And
have
we've
fun.
had company parties where that happens, and they are very happy with because a lot of companies want to include their families.
Sure.
This obviously is a family-oriented community, and there aren't that many places where they can, and they are able to enjoy themselves as adults with each other while their kids play, and it works out very well.
Well, congratulations to you. You found something you love to do and something that people love to come to. And the only stress that you have to sit down occasionally and pay the bills. But otherwise, you're having more fun than the rest of us. I may be in the wrong business.
Perhaps. Come on down.
We'll bring a microphone and come down there. Well, I think it's great. There is a website you can go to. It's kangaroozoo.net. There is a phone number to call to make reservations or just chat about anything you want to chat about that has party in it anywhere. 801-785-9999. Chad George is the brains behind all of this and the energy and the whole works. He's got a facility located in Pleasant Grove at the 275 exit. Fiddle-dee-dee around until you find it, and keep the phone number, and they'll guide you in, 785-9999 if you get lost. And if you're in North Salt Lake, not Salt Lake, but North Salt Lake, there's a facility there. And if you're up in Ogden, there's a facility there, and all of this is on a website. And so, my goodness, this was fun. I'm glad you didn't bring kangaroos. This turned out to be better. And I'm thinking of all the people that I should bring out there with their children for Christmas.
Oh, I hope the list is really long.
Yeah. We'll fill it up for you.
Perfect.
That will be so much fun.
Perfect.
Thank you so much for being with us today. I'm Pat Sheranian, and wishing you just a wonderful rest of the day with so much fun in it. If you want to hear about Kyanie and how come I feel so good at my tender age, then please call me and let's talk, 801-362-9552. And I want to thank Kelly because she's our new board operator. It's probably a fancier title than that, but she keeps us going and on the air. Kent Vorkink and Pete Hansen own UtahValleyLive.com, that channel, and we appreciate their efforts. And I want to mention Robin Howell. She's the owner of KHQN 1480 AM. Has a general store down in the Delta area. Look her up and tell her you've enjoyed watching and listening. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.